Welcome once again to your VMSG Dashboard Public Health Performance Management System. In this training module, we're going to go over a lot of ground. We'll review the basic functions used throughout the dashboard. We're going to show you how to log in and manage your login credentials. We'll go over everything on the main menu. We'll show you how to effectively use the help and information screens, how to get to the performance dashboard screen for any selected group, the reports menu and how to use all the reports in the dashboard, the navigation tabs along the top of the screens. We'll show you the cookie crumb across the bottom of the screens to show you exactly where you are in a plan at any point in time. We'll show you how to use the buttons common to most of the screens, how to use the document management system to store and retrieve documents anywhere in the system, the history tracking for plan elements, how to copy and paste complete plans or specific sections of plans, the objective and activity performance charts, how you can roll up activities to their related objectives, the activity wizards for quality assurance and quantitative measurement type activities, the service request screens. We'll review the partner database and the related reports. We'll go over the program abstract tools and reports. We'll show you the three-dimensional planning and how to categorize and index everything in the system, as well as the related reports. And we'll show you the accreditation review process and the reports related to that. As you can see, we have a lot to cover, so let's start at the beginning. How to get your login credentials and actually log into the dashboard. First, you'll need to open one of the approved web browsers. These are the browsers we've tested and approved. The latest version of Google Chrome is our top pick. Microsoft Edge Chromium, not the old Internet Explorer-based version, is the new Microsoft browser based on Chrome. Firefox and Apple Safari. As a note, please don't use Microsoft Internet Explorer-based browsers. You won't be happy with the performance. We're going to open Chrome and then go to login.vmsgdashboard.com to get into the dashboard. In the address bar up here, I'm going to type in login.vmsgdashboard.com. This takes me to the login page. Now, if you don't already have your login credentials here, just hit the send button. Type in your email address and then hit send again. In a second, you'll get a little confirmation dialog just saying that it found your email address and your username and password and emailed them to you. Just hit OK. You're going to get an email from the system that looks something like this. If you don't see the email within a minute or two, check your spam and your junk folder. Sometimes they do get caught in there. Basically, you're getting your user ID and your password in here. So we'll go back to the system now. Click the login button. Now, up here where it says username or email, you can use either. So you can use the username that was just emailed to you, or you can just use your regular email address and then probably copy and paste that cryptic password in there. Go ahead and hit the login button. If you've been assigned in the system as an activity or an objective lead somewhere, you're going to get this dialog box that says you can either go to the quick update screens or the main menu. And since we already discussed the quick update screens in the introduction training module, we'll go ahead and go to the main menu at this point. Now, when you go to the main menu, it's going to ask you to please not enter any personally identifiable information into the dashboard. And being a planning system, you don't really need that. And you're at the main menu. This is the main menu for normal and manager level users. The main menu for administrators has a few additional buttons. We'll cover these in the administrator training module. Now, if some time goes by before you get back into the system and you've forgotten your login information, you can always go back through this exact same process. Just hit the send button, enter your email address, and hit send again. It's going to send you your updated login information if you've changed your password. If you recall, in that email, the password was a cryptic string of characters that you probably don't want to remember. So in order to be able to change that, just go to this password button right here, click on that. You're going to put in the current password, so probably just copy and paste out of the email. Put in a new password that you want to use, verify the new password like every other website in the world, and then hit update, and you'll have your new password set. If you go back again and retrieve it through the send process again, you're going to get the new password when you go in there. Once you're done for the day and you're ready to log out, this is your log out button up in the top right corner here. Just click that. It's going to give you a dialog box asking you if you're sure you want to log out. Hit log off, and it's going to take you now back to the VMSG homepage. Up here, you can always go back in, so you can just click on this link to log right back into the system at any point in time. Let's go ahead and log back in, and we'll check out the main menu here. Let's start in the top right corner with the Quick Access menu. These items appear on every screen to help you to make the navigation around the dashboard easier. This little blue eye button takes you to the context-sensitive help screen. Depending on where you are in the system, you'll go to a different help topic. Let's go ahead and select Services here. So now we're coming from the Services screen here. Click on the context-sensitive help button up here. So you can see we've gone to the Help and Information screen. You can see that Adding and Managing Services is highlighted. Over here in the top right, you have a bulleted list of every button and every field that's on the screen and what to do with them. Down here, you have a few different options. This video button will play a, on average, 3 to 4 minute training video on this specific topic, in this case, Adding and Managing Services. Down here at the bottom, you can open the VMSG User Guide and the VMSG Implementation Guidelines document. Let's go ahead and open the User Guide. Just click on here. You're going to download that to your hard drive somewhere, typically your downloads file, save it, and then it'll appear down here in the bottom of the browser. You can open that up, and you can see the User Guide. So the User Guide is all hyperlinked through here, so I can go back to our services and initiatives and get all the information that I need. You can print this off, or you can just dock it on your desktop, whatever you want to do with it. This button will take you back to the main menu from anywhere in the system. This traffic light button you see here will take you to the performance dashboard for the selected group. Now, if you don't know which group is selected, you can just go down here to the bottom and hover your mouse over the cookie crumb, and it'll show you it's USA Public Health Department. And I go up and click on the traffic light, and this is the performance dashboard for the USA Public Health Department. Please review the Performance Monitoring Training module for a detailed explanation of this screen. This button will take you to the Reports menu. All the reports in the dashboard are consolidated in a Reports menu. Many of the reports here are used for other features of the dashboard like external partners, three-dimensional planning, and program abstracts. For now, we'll walk through the basics of reporting. Then we'll walk through all of these reports after we work our way through those other features. First, we'll talk about the common features and controls for most of the reports. Reports are generated either at the group or the service and initiative level here. Let's go ahead and generate a report for our Community Health Division. So I'll go down and select Community Health. Now we'll notice down here at the bottom that we have Community Health selected, but we have no service or initiative selected down here. Let's go to the Reports menu and generate an operational plan report for Community Health. Now, if we scroll down here, we'll see where we have Service 1, Service 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here. So we have all the services within Community Health in this particular report. Now, if we go back to our Service Initiative tab and just select, let's say, just the Safe Kids program, and go back and generate the report. Now you notice when we scroll down, we don't have any of the other services. So you can generate the report either at the group level or just a single service within the group here. The operational plan report is explained in great detail in the performance monitoring training module here. As a quick review, the operational plan report is by far the most commonly used report. It can provide a complete detailed view of any group or specific service or initiative. You can see the status of every level of the plan from the group all the way down through the service, the goal, the objective, and all of the activities underneath there. At the top of each report, you'll see a set of common controls. You can select the range of dates to display. These dates are the end dates of the activities. You can choose to show any documents attached by clicking here. Now you'll see down here that this document is attached to the service itself. You notice that these notes are down here in blue. If you want to hide those notes for some reason on the report, you can just click here, and now the notes disappear. You can also show the different levels in a report here. So I can start at the service level and just show the services. Now, in this case, it ought to just show the one service, Safe Kids. I can show the service and the related goals, and I can then show the objectives, and I can get all the way down to the activity level here. Again, for more detail on this report, please review the Performance Monitoring Training module. You can use either the back arrow up here or the Report menu button to get back to the Reports menu. Now let's go back to the main menu. Let's talk about these navigation tabs up here. Navigation tabs are common to every screen. If you look closely, you'll see that they represent the planning pyramid laid on its left side. Let's look at each of these tabs. At the left is the organization. Now, most folks will only have one organization there, but there's cases where you might have multiple. Groups. Groups is the organizational structure of your department. Vision, mission, and values. Each group can have separate vision, mission, and values. Most often they're the same throughout the department, but there's some cases where especially the mission statement might change. The mission statement for WIC would probably be different than the mission statement for emergency preparedness, so you have the flexibility of doing that. Over here, this copy button allows you to, instead of retyping everything in at each group level, you can copy it from the parent group. So a lot of times you'll put them in at the department level and just copy them on down, and then if you need to, you can make changes, typically again at the mission level down there. Services and initiatives. You can see we have the services and initiatives here. Instead of clicking a service or initiative and then going to the next tab, you can also just use this drill down button over here. So it just saves you a click. So I'm going down to the goals tab here. Underneath the goals tab, then obviously are the objectives. And underneath the objectives are the activities. So I can just simply drill down that way. It just saves you a mouse click or so as you're going down there. Sometimes while you're navigating around the system, you may get distracted or just want to refresh your memory as to where you are in the plan. The cookie crumb down here at the bottom will show you at any point in time. You can just roll your mouse over each of the fields here, and you can see the organization, the group. The service numbers are in here, but you can look at the actual service text, the goal, the objective, and the activity down here. So it's just a nice way to understand where you are in the plan. In addition, you can click on any one of these fields, and it'll take you right to that particular, in this case, the objective. You probably noticed that there are a bunch of common buttons on the screens we've been going over. The good news is that the same button does the same thing on every screen. Let's review these buttons across several of the screens. We're now logged in as a system administrator. There are several additional features available to admins. We'll note these as we go through these buttons here. On the group screen, you'll find these buttons. Adding or removing a record on the group screen is limited to admins. This is because when you remove a group, you remove the entire plan or the entire pyramid underneath that group. Let's start by adding a record. The big blue plus button allows you to add a new record to the current screen. In this case of adding a group, the new group by default will report to the selected group, but don't worry, you can change it later if you need to. We're going to go ahead and add a new group abbreviation, and we'll call it test group. You'll notice that the group is a level 2 because it's reporting to demo, which is a level 1 group. Admin level is something we'll be talking about when we get into the administrator training. So now that I've added the group abbreviation and name, I'm going to go ahead and save the group here. When you add a new group, you're going to be asked to set permissions for that group. As you can see, there's 3 choices. All edit means everybody will be able to view and edit everything in that group all the way down to the activity level. All view just means that administrators will be able to edit everything and everybody else will just be able to view the plan. And then just me just means that I'm the only one who can see and edit this plan. So let's pick just me for now. Now you see we've added this new group called test under demo, and it's reporting up to demo here. Now, if you make a change to anything on this screen, or pretty much any screen, in here and you don't save it and move on, let's go ahead and put in for training. And then if we don't hit the save button, we move back up to demo here, you're going to get this little dialog box asking you if you want to save the changes. We'll go ahead and say, yeah, we'll save the changes. The red X down here allows you to remove a group. And as you'll recall, only system administrators can remove a group here. But if I click the red X here, you're going to get a dialog box just asking you, do you want to remove the group and all of its abstract services, goals, objectives, and activities? So you're removing a lot when you remove this group. We'll go ahead and hit OK. This button takes you to the program abstracts. We'll be covering program abstracts in detail in a few minutes here. This document management button is on almost every screen. It was originally developed to manage all the documents to be submitted for FAB or state accreditation. This button allows you to add, edit, copy, link, or remove any document or documents attached to this specific plan element, in this case, the new group. Adding a document to this group is easy. Just click the plus button or the mask if it happens to be the first document attached here. First, you'll choose a file to add. Now we'll click the upload button to actually upload it to our secure servers. So the file is now up on the servers. Next, we're going to enter some metadata around this file, which is going to be a description and some notes. So we'll call this the description and notes fields are unlimited, so you can put as much text in there as you want. So you're not limited to a file name or anything along that line. You can also assign a traffic light status to a document. You're welcome to define this light status that best suits your needs. Often they're designated as red and yellow, typically indicate a draft document. There may be several versions of this document before it's finalized. Document management will automatically maintain version control for you. Green documents often indicate that the document's been finalized, ready to go, signed off by management, and in the case of FAB accreditation, ready to go up into the EFAB system. And then the gold document indicates it's done. Basically, it means that you've submitted that up into EFAB here. And you'll probably put notes in there to that effect. This date field down here is the document date. It's a manual field. Typically, in the FAB accreditation process, it represents the expiration date of this document. So for instance, your chip has to be less than 5 years old. Your workforce development plan has to be less than 2 years old. So this would be the expiration date. So anytime you're getting ready to submit that document up into EFAB, you can look at it and say, yeah, it's valid to be able to go. Now we're going to go ahead and save the file and the data we put in there. So you can see now we have this tobacco cessation plan up in there. If you're going to add a new version of this same file, sometimes it's easier just to use the copy button here. It's going to ask you to upload a file, so we'll go ahead and pick the same file again. And we'll go ahead and tell it to upload. So now you've noticed that it copied the file, but it also copied the metadata that we put in there. So the description, the notes, and the date, and the traffic signal flag are all in there. Just saves you some typing. Once you've added the file, you can make any edits necessary, like maybe we'll call this a second draft. And we'll go ahead and set the light on this one to gold and save the file. Now, up here you'll notice under version, it's now version 2 of this file. Every time you add a new file, that version number is going to increment as long as it's the same file name. By default, we only show the latest version of a file, but if you want to see all versions of this file, this button up here, Show All Versions, will do that for you. So now you can see version 1 and version 2. The version number for the latest version is always in green. The other one is typically in black. This link button down here allows you to link to an existing file. There'll be times when you have a large document in there that you want to reference multiple times for multiple places in the plan, like for instance your chip. You might have reference to different sections of the chip in there. So this link document allows you to link to an existing document in there. So we'll go to our services now. Now we'll select our test service, and we'll go to document management for that. Then we'll go ahead and hit the link button to link to the document that we already put in here. Click on that. Now, since we know that we have that document is completed, marked it as gold, we can narrow it down a little bit by just collecting the status here and saying we just want to see all the gold documents here. And if you recall, it was the tobacco cessation plan for training, second draft. So we'll select that one, and then we'll go ahead and save it. Now we've linked to our existing document. Let's go back and look at it from the group. So back to our test group down here, in document management. You'll notice now we have a 2 on the document management folder indicating there's 2 documents attached there. Click on that. We're looking at the latest version of this document here. You'll notice this new link button appeared down here. This indicates that this is the original document and we have other plan elements linked to that. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and it'll say that the service test is linked to that. And if we want to go to that actual service and find out why we linked it to there, we can just click on here. It takes us now to the document management for that particular service. If I want to see again which service, I can either go down here and roll my mouse over it and see that was our test service 1, or I can just hit the back arrow up here and take us right to the service itself. This button will take you to the VMSG public screens, which allow you to build public-facing web pages, in this case for the entire group. Please refer to the training module on performance monitoring for a detailed review of this feature. Now let's look at some more of the basic buttons. This little up arrow with a paperclip is used for three-dimensional planning. We'll be going into great depth on this unique feature in a few minutes. The hourglass button will show you the history of this plan element from the time it was originally entered to date. Here you can see all the changes over time. We go into great detail on this feature in the training module on performance monitoring. Now back to our services initiative screen. These buttons allow you to copy and paste anything from a single activity up to a complete plan. In this case, when we copy and paste a service, we'll copy all of the goals, objectives, and activities under it in the plan. This includes all the links to categories, subcategories, and the folks assigned as objective leads and activity teams and leads. It's a very powerful tool for creating similar versions of existing plans like next fiscal year planning. Let's go ahead and make a copy of the first service here. We'll select the service first. We'll go down and click the copy button. You notice that the paste button here is now lit up, so we know that we have a copy of the service in there. Now we'll go ahead and paste it in there. It's going to ask us if we want to reset the traffic light flags or just copy them down. Let's go ahead and copy them down for now. Down here now you can see the copy of the original plan. It has the dash copy after it just so you understand which is which. So we'll go ahead and change that. Let's go ahead and change that to plan for 2021 and save it. So now when we navigate down the pyramid, we're going to see exactly what we had in the original plan. So the goals, the test goal here, the objectives, and you notice the objective has the objective lead assigned to it, the activities, and then the activities have the team and the lead and everything assigned to it there. So you make a complete copy of the plan. Then typically what you'll do is go in and change the dates later on or something in the plan to make it effective for the new fiscal year or something along that line. The objective screen has a few additional buttons. This button shows you a performance chart for the selected objective. This feature is explained in great detail in the training module for performance monitoring. This little flag button here allows you to select this objective to show up on the dashboard in the My Priorities section. Click it and it'll turn to green here. Now we'll go to the dashboard and see where it appears. Now as you notice, this objective has appeared up here. We can do the same thing to remove it. If we just click on this objective, it'll take us back to where we were. Click the green flag, it'll turn to black, and if we went back to the dashboard, it would no longer be there. This feature is described in detail in the training module on performance monitoring as well. Now down to the activity screen where we have a couple of other unique buttons. First of all, this check mark you see is really not a button, but it's an indicator that the activity has been selected for roll up to the parent objective. This is covered in detail in the performance monitoring training module here. The next button is the activity wizard. For the quality assurance and quantitative measurement activities, They have a small wizard popover screen to enter additional information. This is the QM activity wizard here. Just enter the values in there and then hit the save button. This feature again is explained in great detail in the operational planning training module. Now let's look at the actual main menu items. First, a few of these selections are duplicates of the button on a quick access menu we just went over. These two buttons perform the same function by taking you to the dashboard screen for the selected group. Either of these buttons will take you to the help and information screen for the currently selected function. Either of these buttons will take you to the reports menu. So it's just a little bit redundant there. The quick update button here will take you to the quick update feature of the system, which is explained in great detail in the VMSG Introduction Training module. Anytime you want to change your password, you can just click on this button. Pops open this little window here that you can put in the current password, your new password, and then obviously verify your new password, just like every other website in the world. Hit update and it'll change your password for you. The service request feature allows users to contact their system administrators when they need anything related to the dashboard. On this screen, there's 5 options. First one is to request a new user. Here you can enter the information for the new user to be added to the system. You can provide the new user's name, their supervisor name, their email address, the groups you'd like them to have access to, and the user permissions. You can also provide any additional notes or information. Once you've entered everything, just click Submit. This will send the email to the designated system administrators with all this information. Here, you can select to have a user moved or updated. So you might have new information about that user you want to put in there, or you're moving them to a new group, something along that line. Request user replacement is unique in that you can actually overwrite an existing user with a new user. So what happens is if that existing user is assigned to a bunch of objectives and activities, now the new user will be assigned to those same objectives and activities. So if you have somebody replacing somebody's job 100%, then you can use that feature to replace that user without having to go back in and reset all of the objective and activity leads. Use this feature if you're going to remove the user permanently from the system. And then the request other services is just a notes field to allow you to basically email the system administrator with any other functions that you want to discuss. Now back to the main menu. These two buttons down here provide access to the VMSG Public indicator rows and web pages. Please review the Performance Monitoring Training module for full details on VMSG Public. The VMSG dashboard has a complete external partner database built in. This database allows you to assign external partners to any activities. The partner database is two-tiered. There are partner organizations on the left and contacts for each of those organizations on the right. Each partner can have as many contacts as you want, and you can have as many partners as you want. Partners, like groups, are hierarchical and can be entered up to 10 levels deep. As an example, you might have the State Health Department as a partner at level 1, and then possibly emergency preparedness under the State Department at level 2, and then maybe emergency medical services reporting up to emergency preparedness at level 3. So you can stack them as deep as you need to. At the top of the partners column, you can filter or search the partner list. You can determine the highest level number to see. We'll select all. Here you can do a general text search. So let's look for every partner with seat in their name. And you can either hit the tab key or click this magnifying glass. So now we see the list of partners who have seat in their name. You can filter by partner type. So you can go down and just select, let's say, nonprofit partners here. And at this point in time, you're seeing just the one partner who fits into the nonprofit category. When partners and contacts are initially entered, they're set to inactive. Inactive partners will show up in this list, but won't show up in the list to select from on the activity screens. This allows most users to be able to enter their partners, but they can only be activated by a manager or an admin user. This is just a double check to make sure that we eliminate duplicate entries. The Show Inactive button allows you to see only the partners which have not yet been activated to make it easier for the manager or admin users to find and activate them. Let's go ahead and enter a new partner. Anytime you're entering a new record in the VMSG dashboard on any screen, you start with the plus button. This opens up the blank fields at the bottom here to enter. I'll go ahead and fast forward a bit so you don't have to sit here and watch me type. When you're done entering everything, just click Save. This is the same basic procedure used on every screen in the VMSG dashboard. Now we'll enter a contact for this partner. Same process, hit the plus button, enter the contact information, and hit Save. Since we're logged in as a manager type user, we can go ahead and activate both the partner and the contact. Now let's look to see where these partners show up. We'll go back to the activity screen, go down to the bottom left corner where it says Activity Partners. If we click on this pencil icon, we'll see the list of partners available here. Now you see the VMSG dashboard as our new partner in there. Now, just as a note, if we had not activated that partner on the partners database screen, it would not show up on this list. Now, we can either select the partner organization or the partner organization and a specific contact or multiple contacts if you want to here, and then go down and hit the Save button. And we'll see now that VMSG shows up as a new partner in our activity. Now let's look at the reports that are specific to partners. Back to the reports menu. The first one we'll look at is just this partner listing report. So I've got some options over here. I can select a specific group, or I can say print the selected partner only. Let's say no, we want to print them all. Print the contacts, yes. And print the detail, yes. So now what I've said, I want to see all the partners, and I just want to see the contacts with the partners and the detail. And when I click this button down here, it'll show me the list of all the partners in my organization. From here, I can choose to print or export this report by clicking this button down here. It's going to give me the default file name, vmsg_report.htm. It is a fully formatted HTML file. So when I click on here, it's going to give me the option to save this. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and save it as vmsgreport.htm. You can change the file name anywhere you want to here. Save that, close it, and now you'll see that I have that report down here in the bottom of my browser. So when I click on that, it's going to open up in a new browser window. From here, you can use the browser print function to save it as a PDF file or print it to your local printer. So you got a lot of options there. In addition, you can use Control-A to highlight everything in here, use Control-C to copy it, and then maybe open a blank Word document and paste it into your Word document if you want to make some changes to it or something along that line. The other report is the Partner Activities Report. This report will allow you to see which activities a specific partner or partner contact are assigned to. So on this screen at the top, you're going to see the same filters that you've seen before. Down here, we'll select VMSG Dashboard, the new partner we added. And down at the bottom, I have several options. Number one, I can do a search, which will show me a screen with the actual activities this partner is assigned to. Over here, I could do the same thing for the partner contact. So let's go ahead and look for the activity. And you can see the activity we assigned them to earlier, and you can see down here that VMSG Dashboard appears. Let's go back. The other option then, we'll go over here and select Partner Contact Report. So up here at the top, you can see the partner name and the contact name, and then you can see the activity that that partner is assigned to. And if there was multiples, obviously you'd see all of those down there. And then again, you can use this button to print it, to export it, whatever you want to do with it. So this is a very handy report when you want to find out who your external partners are and what they're involved with in the health department. One of the little-known features of the dashboard are program abstracts. This feature allows you to create, for lack of a better term, marketing brochures for any of your programs. Program abstracts are tied to specific groups in the dashboard. This button will take you to the page to create your program abstracts. Here you can enter new or edit existing abstracts. Like most screens, you have the three buttons to add a new abstract, save the current abstract, or remove the current abstract. Let's look at the abstract for the Ashline program. Down here at the bottom, we have an abstract number, which is also a sort number here. So when we get ready to print them, you can determine what order they print in. This title is just a name that you're going to assign the program so you can understand what it is. It's not going to print anywhere. Down here in the abstract statement, you can put any description you want in there. It can be as long as you want it to be. Eligibility requirements is just that. It's how do your clients qualify for this program. Down here, you have the ability to put 4 web links in, so you can put different, like you can see a Facebook page in here and the basic web page for it, and you got a couple extras over here. Down here, you can have the abstract contact name, so who's the person to contact for this? You can select it from the list. We've got Andrea selected here. If you don't want anybody to show up as a specific contact, you can just hit the little red X and it'll clear that box over there. Now let's look and see how we can show or print these abstracts. Since we're already at the department level down here, we'll just go up to the Reports menu. And we'll go down and select the Program Abstract Report. You can see the 3 program abstracts we have up here. If there's subgroups with program abstracts underneath the department, in this case, we can show them this way. Now you see the subgroup Community Health Division under the department, and it's got an abstract in itself. So we can print all 4 of these abstracts if we want to. This checkbox over here determines which ones we'll print. So let's go ahead and just print the first 3 for now. Over here, it says by category tag. This will allow us to print abstracts from a specific set of categories and subcategories. We'll be talking about categorization here in a few minutes. Down at the bottom, we have a couple of choices for abstracts per page. You can say auto and let the system put as many abstracts on a page as it can, or you can just say 1 abstract per page. Let's go ahead and select that for now. Presented by, you're going to select somebody from the group here. And we'll go ahead and select Andrea as our presented by person here. If I don't want it to say presented by anybody, I can just hit the little red X and it'll clear that box. And then the service over here says, it'll have a line at the top that says a summary of, in this case, public health services. You can change that to anything you want in there. Then I'm going to go over here and click the little print button, and we can see the program abstracts. This graphic header is the graphic header for your department. And then you can see we have the 3 abstracts. We've set them 1 per page, so it'll print 3 separate pages with these abstracts on there. From here, just using the browser, you can go up and print this to a PDF. You can print it off your printer. It is actually an HTML file, so I could go down here and save it as an HTML file, which then would allow me to put these abstracts up on our public web page if I choose to, or just email that HTML file to somebody so they could see it in an HTML format. One of the most powerful tools in the dashboard is the 3-dimensional planning. 3D planning gives you the ability to categorize plan elements, documents, and abstracts across the entire department. It's an easy way to look for gaps, overlaps, and commonalities across everything you do. Let's categorize our tobacco plan. This button down here is our categorization button. And when I click on it, it takes me to a list of categories and subcategories. Starting out with your strategic priorities from your strategic plan. There's a bunch of different standard public health categories down here. However, your system administrator can change these around. They can remove them. They can add new ones, whatever you want to do with them here. It comes with a basic set of categories in there, though. Let's go ahead and categorize our tobacco program with our strategic priority of reducing health disparities. And then essentials of public health 3 and 5. And let's go down to the FAB domains and select domain 3 standard 1. And you notice you also have the reaccreditation measures in here as well. And then domain 4 standard 1 as well. And when I'm done selecting all the different categories and subcategories, I'll just go ahead and save them. Now, what it's asking me, since I'm at the service level, it's asking me, do I want to categorize all of the plan elements underneath this service at the levels of the goals and the objectives and the activities? Let's go ahead and say yes. Typically, that's going to be the case. If the service fits the categories, then the goals, objectives, and activities typically do as well. Now, down here on the categorization button, you can see the little blue eye indicating that this service has been categorized. If I go down to the goals, you can see now the goal has also been categorized. The objectives, same thing, and down at the activity level. So what I did is categorized everything from the service on down. Now let's look at the reports we can generate using categories and subcategories. The category tag report allows you to look across any part of the department or the whole department for plan elements, abstracts, and documents which meet a specific set of criteria. Up at the top of this report are a couple of controls. This drop-down chooses the top-level group for the report, which will include all of its subgroups. Here you see that we've chosen the whole department to look at. Initially, the report will contain the department and any groups one level down from the department. In the report, you'll have the option to select all subgroups. Over here, you can select what you're looking for: documents, abstracts, services or initiatives, goals, objectives, or activities. You can see we've got activities selected, so we're going to be looking at categorized activities. Now let's select the categories and subcategories we want to see. So we'll go ahead and select Strategic Priority 3 here, and we'll hit the print button. Up here you can see the selected category and subcategory: Strategic Priority 3, Reducing Health Disparities. And if you recall, we selected the activity level, so you can see that the group, initiative, goal, objectives are kind of grayed out, yet the activities are bold so that it points you to the fact that we are actually looking at the activities down here. Like most reports, you have a set of controls across the top to fine-tune the report. So again, you can look at the subgroups. Remember, you got one subgroup down at this point. You can look at all the other subgroups. You can look at the range of end dates of the activities. You can show any documents that are attached. If you want to hide the notes fields in here, the blue fields, you can just hide them. And then you can determine what level you want to look at: services, goals, objectives, or activities. This is a very basic category tag report. Now let's go back and look at some more complex examples. There's a lot more power in this selection screen. Once you have those items categorized with multiple categories, you can fine-tune your selection by selecting multiple categories and subcategories. The system uses Boolean logic to determine which items appear on a report. If you select multiple subcategories under the same category, the report will show the items which are tagged with subcategory 1 or subcategory 2. This is kind of a superset of the selected categories. Up here, you can see all of the activities that are tagged with Strategic Priority 1, Enhancing Stakeholder Engagement. And if you scroll down here, you can see Strategic Priority 3. So you're looking at anything that was tagged with either 1 or 3 in this particular report. To really fine-tune the report, you can select from multiple primary categories. This produces a logical AND relationship, which in effect creates a subset of the items here. So let's go ahead and clear the strategic priorities. We'll go down to Essentials of Public Health and Accreditation, number 3, and let's say AND anything that is also FAB Domain 3 Standard 3.1. And we'll run a report. Now remember, we're at the department level, and it's looked down here and says I can't find anything that matches that criteria at the department level or the first level down. If you recall, the tobacco program was a level 3 reporting to the community health division. So we're going to go say yes and look down the next levels. So now up here, you can see the categories and subcategories selected. So you see the Essential Public Health number 3 and FAB Domain 3.1. So what it's saying is everything that is both Essential 3 and 3.1 will appear on this report. And you scroll down, you can see those that match that particular criteria down there from the tobacco program that we put in there. The Boolean selections can be as complex as you like. You can have as many categories and subcategories in there as you want. So you could potentially have Public Health Essential number 4 or Public Health Essential number 5 and FAB Standard 3.1 or FAB Standard 3.2. So it creates a complex Boolean relationship. In that example, anything that had either Essential 4 or 5, or both of them checked, and either FAB Standard 3.1 or FAB Standard 3.2, or both of them checked, would show up in the report. The category tag report is a very powerful tool to analyze data across the entire department. The next report we want to look at is the categorization report. The Categorization report just shows all the different categories and subcategories assigned to a group and its subgroups. Let's look to see how the tobacco group has been categorized. Now our categorization report. Now you can see the actual categories and subcategories selected for each of the activities down here, since we're looking at the activity level. You could also go up to the objective level and see how the objectives are categorized. And the same thing with the goals and services here. In some cases, you may just want to look at the items that have not been categorized so you can know how you need to categorize them. And that's what this button, Show Uncategorized, is. In this case, it's showing that we don't have anything under tobacco that hasn't been categorized. If we did, it would show the objectives in this case that have been categorized. Next, let's look at the team lead report. This report will show you all of the objectives and activities assigned to any user in the system. This report's often used when you're changing leads on plans, like when someone retires or gets promoted and they're going to be replaced by somebody else. Across the top here, you have some controls. You can search by organization, by group, or just a normal text search like many of the other screens. Let's go ahead and select Andrea. Down at the bottom, we have several selections. We can select the individual, in this case it would be Andrea. We can select the group we've got selected up there at the top, or we can select the entire department. So we can see everybody in the department and how they've been assigned. Over here, if you're looking at activities, you can say either they are a team lead or a team member, or just a team member, or just a team lead, if you want to narrow it down there. And then you can look for either objectives or activities. On the right, you have the option of selecting either a grid screen, so you can see all of the activities Andrea's been assigned to down here. If you notice down here, you'll see that she's a team lead on this particular activity, and she's a team member on this particular activity down here. I can also go back then and say I want to see Andrea in the report format here for activities. So this is the same information you just saw, but in a report format. The other option I have then, obviously, is to select objectives. So if I just want to see the objectives that she's been assigned. Now, the team and lead button doesn't matter over here because objectives only have objective leads. So again, we can go look at the report, and there's the objectives that Andrea has been assigned to. Now let's go back to the reports menu and look at the org chart report. The org chart report just shows you the group structure of the department and each person assigned at the group level. Once I click on it, if I have inactive users in the department, I'll get this dialog box. If I want to see everybody in the department, including inactive users, I'll just hit yes. In the report, you'll see each group, and then you'll see the users in that group. Up here, you see an example of an inactive user. You can see it's slightly grayed out down there. If I scroll down a little bit, I can see the rest of the users and which group they belong to. Back to the reports menu again. From the reports menu, you can also download the user guide. So just go down here and click on it. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. Typically your downloads directory. So I'll go ahead and say, save it to the user guide. Yes, we'll overwrite that. Close this, and you'll notice now the PDF user guide appears down here. I'll click on that, pops it open in a new browser window. The user guide is nice because it's hyperlinked. So if I was working on goals and I wanted to look at the information for goals, I can just click on that and it'll take me right to that section about adding and managing goals in there. One of the features we built into the dashboard to support you during any local, state, or FAB accreditation is the accreditation review. Although it was developed to support state and FAB accreditation, it can actually be used to review any plan in the system. Typically, reviewers are outside folks you bring in to review your accreditation plan before the final site visit from the state or FAB. Reviewers have special permissions related to the review process. Some departments have a super user who can assign reviewer permissions. If not, we're happy to add and assign a reviewer for you. First, let's navigate to the FAB accreditation plan and down to a specific activity. On the activity screen, you'll see this review button. You may also notice that most of the buttons are disabled. Reviewers can't update the plan elements. They can review the activity and any attached documents, but can't make any changes. Reviewers have access to these 4 fields: the site visitor questions and comments. If the activity isn't completed, they can put a comment in there as to why. Suggestions for quality improvement, if they have any ideas on what they can do to do it better. And best practices identified. If they found something that was above and beyond, they can note it in there. Here, the reviewer can set a specific traffic light for the review. Although each department can define the meaning of the traffic light, a common definition might be red means the activity doesn't pass or is not met. Yellow means the activity is close to passing, but not quite. Green might mean that everything is proceeding as expected to pass. And then gold means that the activity is passed and is complete. When they finished entering the review information, they can either save just the review information, or they can save the review information and update the activity traffic light as well as the objective traffic light. So the activity traffic light will be a duplicate of the traffic light you see here in the review pane, and then the objective traffic light will roll up the lowest level in all of the activities of the objective. So if it's one red and everything is green, it's going to roll up red to that objective, knowing that it's not complete yet. Now we're going to log out and log back in as a non-reviewer. Now we're logged in as a non-reviewer. Let's click the review button here. Now you'll notice that these 4 fields for the reviewer are now blocked out, and the non-reviewer only has the ability to enter information in this health department response field and then save it. Now let's look at the accreditation review report. This report will allow you to see all the details of the accreditation review process. First thing you need to do is, in the group screen, is select the accreditation review plan. Back to the reports menu, accreditation review report, and we'll scroll down to the activity we've been working on here. There we go. So what you're seeing here are all of those notes that you saw on the accreditation pane in here. You can see the reviewer notes here in red. This is the notes from the department here in blue. Any QI suggestions, best practice suggestions, then the next activity and the fields with them. Get a good feedback here on exactly how each of the activities is performing. Up here, you've got a couple of options. You can hit this drop down and you can select looking at just activities that have been reviewed. And what it's looking for is a non-blank field here. So the reviewed says that the reviewer notes field is not blank. Best practice, same thing. The best practice field is not blank, and so on. The other thing you can look at is I just want to look at a specific status. I can say gold, green, yellow, or red. So I just want to look and say that I just want to look at the reviews that are completed, gold, let's say. The other thing you can do is show the documents up here that are attached. In this case, it would probably be pretty important to know which documents are attached. So I can click on that. It's going to show me the specific documents attached at every level in there. So here you can see the attachments at the goal, objective, and activity level. We hope you enjoyed this module on VMSG Basics. From this training module, we hope you have a good understanding of the basic features and functions of the dashboard. Best of luck, and please contact us if you have any questions.